Now we're about to take a look at a 5-unit. You heard this right. 5-unit for $100,000. That's $20,000 per door for one of our clients, a friend of mine, Dwayne Foster. So we're all about to get off the bus, take a look at the property, and walk around my neck of the woods to show people the good, the bad, and the ugly of all properties. C properties, but C's for cash flow. Let's get it. So, Dwayne, you want to? No? So, where are we at right now?
We're in physical due diligence. We're negotiating repair allowance.
One more time.
Hear
a little bit louder, please.
Hold on, man. Go ahead.
All right. Oh boy. All right. Right now.
Yeah, speaking right here.
Just talk.
Right now, I'm in physical due diligence. I'm negotiating a repair allowance, and that's where I am right now with this property.
So, this property you have under contract.
Yeah, right now I have this property under contract.
You mind? Let's give him a round of applause.
I'm almost ready to close on this property. It's my first commercial property, 5-unit. It wasn't easy. I ran into some road bumps along the way, but support from Juan. You know, I had some brokers that tried to rip me off when I first started, trying to overprice me for units in the area. But from guidance from Juan, you know, I was able to buy this property, now get it under contract with equity. So actually I made my money back that I invested into the MAP program and doubled it already. Don't tell Juan that, but I already made back my money on Juan. And I'm just excited to move forward and invested in the PA area. The property was listed at 119. I got it under contract at 100.
The numbers, okay. Now, what about the process? We share the good, the bad, the ugly, the whole 9 yards.
All right.
The real estate agents, the whole 9 yards. Just be very transparent.
All right. First of all, it took me a while. I was looking for multifamily, and it took me a while. Look, a lot of dealers kept trying to give me properties that was New York prices. They was just trying to, a lot of brokers was trying to retire off of me. So, talking to Juan as a coach, he started the MAP program, and we looked through some deals, and I found this one, you know, and he guided me. He said, well, first was put a bid in at 90. They rejected 90, we came in at 100, and they took it. So, I jumped on it. We did the financial due diligence. It took a little while. You know, the seller was a little slow with the documents, but we eventually got through it. You know, and I got that done. And I had last week, I had the property inspector came out. The boilers had 30 years, so I was a little worried about that. The fuse panel was a little old, needed updating. But you know, we're investors. When we buy property, we ain't buying a property on top value. We want to improve value to so we could cash out in a couple and buy another property. So I wasn't too worried with that, you know. And if we get this repair allowance, I'm good to go. That's the money less for me to bring to the down payment.
Exactly.
So.
Okay, do you have any reservations about buying properties out of state? If so, what were those reservations?
What do you mean,
like do you have any fears? Did you second guess investing out of a property out of state, being that you're in New York? And
yeah, I was, you know, it was just in New York. When I got into New York investing, I didn't have a mentor, so a broker said, "Here's a good property," I bought it, and I ended up paying too much. So I always had that fear out of state. I didn't know the market. You know, is 300 good for a single family? Because you could find in PA, you could find properties all different prices. So it's really not knowing the market. I had that fear until I joined the MAP program, and you know, Juan knew the area, and it was a go from there. 100,000 for a 5-family, my first multi-family commercial property. It was a goal.
So let's give him a round of applause. Okay. So we talked a lot about the good, right? What's the good? The numbers. And I say this often, right? You don't fall in love with the property, you fall in love with the numbers, with the deal, right? The numbers, right? So with this property, the numbers are good. Now, the deal itself, there were some setbacks. There were some things that were ugly about the property and the deal itself. 2 things that were ugly were the real estate agents. Okay? One agent, as I discussed before, about submitting offers, she was reluctant in submitting offers with us. You remember that one agent?
Yeah, we got dropped. The first agent dropped us.
The first agent dropped us. Said she didn't want to work with us.
Yeah.
Her loss. The reason why she didn't want to work with us, because again, I submitted an offer, and she said, hey, you actually want to submit an offer without taking a look at the property? I said, yeah, I do that all the time. I'll take a look at the property during the due diligence phase, as we always do. So she was somewhat thrown off by that. And I said, oh yeah, and I also like to do business this way and that way. And she's like, well, that's not how I normally do it with residential properties. So I don't fault her 100% simply because she's used to buying residential properties for her people.
Number 1, ignorance.
So instead of moving forward and taking action to apply it and learn something new, she decided herself to back out. No problem. One monkey doesn't stop any show. Move forward with another agent. So we moved forward with another agent and started working with the deal. Now this is the downside. The main agent I worked with didn't list this property. So I ended up finding this property on MLS, the multiple listing service. So the agent who actually listed this property, and what you see the sign right there, I don't want further out, so you gotta put her name and number on camera. But she actually, that's the thing, like you don't know who you're working with. If I want to put her on blast, I can put her on blast, right? So I'm still want to keep her information confidential. But she also is experienced in residential and not commercial as well. So that's a downside. So when we're talking about negotiations, going back and forth on the listing price, and also about negotiating a repair allowance, she's having a lot of pushback, a lot of feedback. Even with scheduling the property inspection. It was difficulty, right?
Yeah, flew out here for property inspection.
So he flew out here prior, what, about 2 weeks ago?
About 2 weeks ago, and I called her, I'm at the property, the inspector was here. He said, oh, I'm busy, call your broker, you know, and long story short, it didn't get completed, you know, had to reschedule again.
And that's what I mean by people skills, right? Yeah. Being a people-based game. So this gentleman flew from New York to Atlanta for a scheduled property inspection. It wasn't on the fly. And she said, well, you're SOL. Contact your agent.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. So you weren't able to inspect every unit?
Yeah, I wasn't able to get into the units.
Hold on, was this a different one or the same one?
No, the same property.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, the same.
No, the same
lady
agent.
that the
Really
same, the first agent or the second
So I'll
agent?
explain. There's 2 agents.
Okay.
The agent that I prefer for all of my people is Dave. So Dave, I typically work with listing agents, but being that Dave didn't list it, I said, hey, represent me as my buyer's agent because you know how to operate how I operate.
He can get a piece of the check.
Correct. So I said, represent me, Dave, because he's normally a listing agent. He said, cool, I'll do that. But the other agent, the one down there, was playing hardball. Yes. And she had a very difficult time being accommodating to this buyer right here. Correct. And this guy's credible to close. You're already pre-approved.
Yeah, pre-approved.
Got the
shows
cash,
the
the
down
capital?
payment. Yeah, ready to close.
And some agents are like that.
Yeah, but you got the other thing is that the people that's listing this property, Howard and Hannah, they themselves, as typically as a company here in Pittsburgh, is that the mentality that you teaching us, they don't have that mentality.
They don't. And that's what we alluded to earlier, right? We talked about having to train and develop your team. So your real estate agents, they have to be onboarded to do business the way that you like to do business. She's not technically my team member, but I had to be patient with Dave, remember? Right. With Dave blood was boiling. He's like, bro, I do not, he says, bro, you know, he's like, I don't like working with her. I think we should, I said, Dave, this is the good deal. shouldn't back out simply because you and the agent are having a hard time. Like, will y'all be able to kiss and make up, work something out, so that we can move forward with this deal? Just give it a day or so, Dave. Let the steam blow off, and please reach back out to her. Dave reached back out to her. We were good to go. Okay, so we got the property inspection. So with the property inspection, I use that as a negotiating tool. I use that as leverage to get repair allowances at closing. Do we want the seller to do the repairs for us?
No.
And why is that?
Because they're doing shabby jack parts.
Cheap. Yeah. Right? Might do a shoddy job. So we want to request a repair allowance. We got 2 minutes. So we want to request a repair allowance simply for the fact so that we can use that as negotiating power. So that's where we're in the middle right now. So I met with Dave yesterday at the closing, and Dave mentioned, well, how much of a repair allowance you're trying to get on this deal? I said, well, let's see if we can get about 10,000, maybe 7,500. He's like, well, keep in mind, Juan, you already talked the the seller down almost $20,000. You think they'll go with another repair allowance of 10,000? I said, well, let's see. It doesn't hurt to ask. Okay? So we should have an answer by Monday or Tuesday of next week. Okay? So when we get that repair allowance done, Dwayne will have the next step, which is the mortgage commitment letter, and we'll go over phase 3 and 4 tomorrow for more information. And then we'll do the appraisal, and then we'll be free to close. Sounds good, right? So any last comments you have about this property?
No, it was a lot of steps, but nothing in life is easy, you know. So
it'll be boring.
Yeah,
Right? It's a great job to be boring. But sometimes when you're in the deal process, you start off going on the straight and narrow path, and bing, oh, the agent give me a hard time. Bing, oh man, it's property inspection, they come back as you want it. Bing. But you'll eventually go from A to Z. Okay, it might not be in a linear fashion. Any comments about this property, this deal, prior to moving forward with the next deal, the next property?
What's the cash flow? If you don't mind sharing.
About $500, but that's not including it. The seller wants to rent the first floor storage. So if I do that, it'd be $800. Yeah.
Right. So you also get paid for storage.
Yeah.
Okay. Great question, Brittany. Any other questions?
Still a good neighborhood here. It's not a bad place.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know, you got some cool people on looking, learning. All right. Anything else?
We got a question.
Yes.
We got a question here. Don says we typically like our properties 100% occupied.
Yes.
But it does not look occupied.
So why?
Is it occupied?
Yeah, it's occupied. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it is occupied.
Yeah.
At 100%?
And the storage down here?
Yeah, it's 5 units, not including the storage.
Oh, 5, not including.
5 residential units.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Plus the
that's
storage.
nice.
Yeah, plus the storage.
That's nice.
Great question.
People pay when they stay.
Is the duplex on the side over here, is that part of the deal also?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Oh, 2 separate.
So 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. They all going from 5 to 650.
You talking about the revenue per unit?
I don't want to say this loud. It's undervalued. It's the landlord. The seller hearing me. But 800 is Section 8 will pay now. So there is room to increase rents.
So a value add.
Yeah, it is a value add.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Tenant pays. Sorry, Juan.
No,
Tenant pays heat and electric. Only I pay is water.
How's the, oh sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how is like the structure as far as like the roof and electrical, plumbing? Like, do you have to do any major work?
So there is some repairs needed for the property. The things that we're negotiating now for that repair allowance that I made mention to earlier, the roof needs patched up, not a full replacement, but some patchwork. Also, the electrical panels.
Yeah.
So the safety related items and the major mechanical items, that's what we're negotiating right now. Okay. Any other questions before we move forward to the next property? We good? All right, so Ty, we're going to move forward with the next property.
Coming this way, people. Please down the sidewalk. We got cars coming. Please down the sidewalk.